There are not many basketball fans out there who would disagree with the fact that Drazen Petrovic is one of the most talented European players that has ever played the game. Born back in 1964 in Croatia, he showed his skills from a young age and prepared the world for what to expect from him the following years. When he was 9, he was training with his older brother, Ako Petrovic, who was playing for the local team, and by the age of 15, he was already a member of the first team of the Croatian Sibenka. His teammates were surprised by his winning mentality and work ethic, as he was training 7 to 8 hours a day and never missed a single practice. No need to mention that after training, he was sitting alone on the court, taking 500 shots. After 5 years, it was time for the next step in his career, and he signed with the biggest team in Croatia at the time, Cibona. And what he did when he faced his previous team? He scored 56 points, and guess what? He was not even emotional, stating later that it was not a big deal for him facing his former team, and if he had the chance, he would score again the same amount of points against his former team. Just a sign of his determination that was always a part of his career. Wherever he played, he loved the challenge and wasn't afraid of anything on the court. Petro won both the Yugoslav Championship and the National Cup, which he failed to do 2 times with Sibenka. He averaged 37.7 points in his 4 seasons with Cibona and was the Croatian Player of the Year all 4 years. Despite his mind-blowing 37.7 points per game, Petrovic managed to achieve something greater than that. In a game against the Slovenian team KK Union Olympia, Petrovic scored 112 points. 112! Holy crap! Such performances made Petrovic not only the best player in his country, but a role model, and of course earned him the respect of his peers. Drazen was one of the greatest players ever, Slovenian NBA player Razor Nesterovic said. Back home, 90% of the kids tried to be like him. His hard work inspired a lot of kids. 1988, and the next station in his career was Madrid. He signed a huge contract with Real Madrid, and he was the reason that the government of Yugoslavia changed the law that didn't allow players under 28 to leave the country. Drazen was just 24 then, but his legacy was already at another level, and he became a part of the Spanish team for just 1 year, as the biggest challenge in his career was ahead. Selected by the Portland Trail Blazers with the 60th pick back in the 1968 NBA draft, Petrovic spent his first 2 years in Portland, and besides a good rookie season, he didn't take the playing time he wanted in the team, as the coach didn't have much faith in him, especially on the defensive part of the game. But, as we said earlier, Drazen was not a quitter, and despite he wasn't treated the way he wanted in the US, he didn't stop to train hard, and in 1991 he was traded to the New Jersey Nets in a 3-team trade. With his playing time increased to over 35 minutes per game, Petrovic showed what he can do on the court. In the 91-92 season, he averaged 20.6 points per game while shooting 50.8% from the field and 44.4% from the 3-point line. The next year, he improved those numbers to 22.3 points per game, 51.8% from the field, and 44.9% from behind the arc. He was the leader of the Nets, and the team made the playoffs all 3 seasons Petro was there, a thing that they haven't accomplished since 1995-1996. It was his incredible 3-point shooting ability that made him league-wide famous. He was ahead of his time, and he showed to the league the importance and effectiveness of the 3-point shot, and imagine how good he could have been if he played in the NBA today. Look at this picture. The kid in the background is the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. Maybe Drazen played his role in creating the GOAT of shooters. Logically, Petro had the respect of his teammates and coaches and in the NBA, not only for his obvious talent, but also for his relentless work ethic. Drazen and I were very good friends, Clyde Drexler said. I was one of those people who welcomed him to Portland when he came from Europe. We talked about his family a lot in his restaurant, and he enjoyed his friends, and he enjoyed the game of basketball. I really respect him because he worked very hard. Each and every day in practice he would be the first guy to come and the last guy to leave the gym, so anybody with that kind of dedication, you have to have a lot of respect for him. But his biggest achievement wasn't the fact that he was averaging 21 points per game and shooting near 50% from the field. He was proof that a European player could make it in the magic world of NBA in a time that only 3 players from Europe were playing there: Drazen, Sabonis and Marciulionis. We could say that he carved the path for the next big European stars like Kukoc, Dirk and many others who had spectacular NBA careers. He taught them that if they believe and chase their dreams, they can be great at any league in the world, including the NBA. Unfortunately, at the age of 28, at the peak of his career, a car accident costed Drazen his life. Basketball fans around the globe were shocked. Drazen was honored in many ways, not only by his compatriots, but by a lot of teams and organizations worldwide. Drazen Petrovic was an extraordinary young man and a true pioneer in the global sports of basketball. The late NBA Commissioner David Stern said, "I know that a lasting part of his athletic legacy will be that he paved the way for other international players to compete successfully in the NBA. His contributions to the sport of basketball were enormous. We are all proud of the fact we knew him." The New Jersey Nets retired Petrovic's number 3 jersey after the tragic accident, and the Croatian Mozart was forever immortalized in 2002 when he was inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame. No one can estimate what else could Drazen achieve in his career if he hadn't had that accident. Some mentioned that they would never saw him at his lowest point and how he would deal with that. Others believe that he was at a great basketball age and his best years were ahead of him. This is a thing, of course, we will never know. To tell the truth, there were not many league and national titles he hadn't already won at the age of 28. European titles, Olympic medals, and many other accolades were a part of a glamorous career. He had a career that other players can only dream about. European fans, knowing that he wasn't satisfied in New Jersey because he wasn't selected to the All-Star game, and after his statements that he wanted to play for Panathinaikos, they were excited that they would witness two of the greatest European players in the same team, Drazen and Nick Gallis. The fact that Drazen left us so early hurts me double, because I'm from Greece and Panathinaikos is my favorite team. One of the greatest players in the world playing for your team is priceless. Michael Jordan once pointed that Drazen was the only player looking at him in the eye and not feeling fear, and we think this is the most appropriate way to close this video, appreciating the greatness of this fearless man and feeling blessed that he played the game and changed the way NBA thinks about European basketball.